down in Salt Lake, go to the doctor.
Oh, were you?
And all, and this morning I was with the wife at the doctor's, so.
Okay,
Yeah, I a lot.
okay.
Go back to work so I can have time. So, yeah, tomorrow I'll be in Casper at the doctor's.
Okay. All right. No,
And then the next 2 days at work. Yeah, it's.
I was, I either have bad timing or I have his business number.
No, I only got one number.
Okay.
But yeah, it's, so, like I say, every time, like I say, the other day when you called, I was in the middle, coming through Salt Lake, and I got home about 10 o'clock that night, and.
I was up, you should have called.
So, yeah, it, like I say, either Cheyenne, Salt Lake, or Casper, doctors.
Okay. Well.
Next time you go to Salt Lake, let me know. You might work. I don't want coffee, I like iced tea.
Oh.
She don't like coffee.
Yeah, no, I told Jim what you did to me. Yeah, this guy comes up, oh, is there coffee? I was like, I could have rung his neck. No, there's no coffee. Oh, and there's Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Well, I'm gonna have to drive a while.
Welcome to City Rawlins early, but, I have no problem at home. Off my phone, just off my like everything.
You're all set, right, Maya?
So.
I don't know. Yeah, because I got you logged out the way, I had you put your login for board docs.
Checking to see if we have connection.
I know these two are having a little bit, you know, angst.
Oh, no,
I'm all set up.
It should work on the computer, your presentation.
I made it look wrong. It's on Zoom. Like you'll see on here, it's got like the Zoom showing.
So, consent.
So if you want.
I don't do this that often.
Basically, just, you'll be able to in the office. The Zoom is making us go, just don't close Zoom, basically, just do your presentation, see it looks more. Just don't, I don't get to
I don't know.
Sometimes it's just got all this stuff on here because that's. I can't get in a regular one, I have to always log on it, yeah. When I do board docs, I can't get anything else.
Okay.
And it's all kind of. And my eyes look, and it fails, and I don't know how to fix it.
Nothing wrong with it. And things from the
I'm on, hey, I'm on.
Why did she think it was necessary?
My software is more important.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if you guys.
You were way over there.
Yeah.
And you don't have coffee.
He did, work by guys being random, look, he's a little funny, but.
I know, but the microphone on too, so be careful. I'm very helpful. There you go. First one open it right now. I sent you guys an email. It's regarding some changes on the second, and third readings of the budget. So if you could read the email and just let me know if that's going to work, or if you want to let the mayor know, that's perfectly fine. They're a little different. The first reading still is.
You're talking about the date?
Yeah. First one is the 10th. That's going to be our first reading. 9th to June 5th, yeah. That's wonderful news. I'm glad you did. That's on top of that. Well, your first reading will be May 10th. Second one is June 5th. That's a change, and then the final will be a special council meeting on the 14th. So if you guys could just let me know if that works, because I've got to put stuff in the paper
Yeah.
that works, fine, let me know.
Well, it's,
Well, I was gonna head up there the 5th, but
Oh, see, you're heading up on the 6th, because it doesn't start until the 7th, so you would be leaving, that's when our regular council meeting is on the 5th. We moved it from the 6th to the 5th.
that's what it is.
no, the regular council meeting is gonna be on the 5th.
It's a Monday. I moved it from, the mayor moved it from Tuesday to Monday, so that everybody could leave
But we're also going to do the budget reading.
on the 5th,
On the 5th.
on Monday. So it won't interfere with going to Wham. Because Wham, you're gonna be leaving on the 6th.
So
and
the budget, is the budget going to be part of the city council meeting?
Yes.
Okay,
It'll be,
then that'll be fine.
okay, and then the third and final will be on the 14th of June, which will be a special
And
council.
that's fine.
That's fine with you? Thank you.
That's like,
Chicken soup,
I know it's like,
breakfast, dinner, and supper.
14th,
Oh, I thought you were bringing coffee, I was like, oh,
Chicken soup. One of them days.
June the 5th and the 14th, what was the other day?
the 10th of,
The 10th of May.
10th of May.
Next week.
Did you do the same thing I did?
Better than here.
So Daryl, will that work for you, or you have to get back to me?
Good.
All right, so, here you go. Log in, you're good to go.
Thank you, guys. June 5th.
June, 5th, which is a Monday, because you guys moved it from the 6th to the 14th, and then the 14th is a special one. That's a Wednesday. So Daryl, I checked with, all the other departments to make sure that nobody else had that day, okay?
Your electrical budget, that's very good.
No, there was other things.
Woo-hoo! Yep.
So then I'll
Okay, so
introduce.
you're good, the mics are on, okay? Guys are all set?
I mean, I'm preaching to the choir.
So good to go. We're all set.
Is everybody ready? All right, I will call this work session to order. It is 6:04, and this is for the purpose of, getting a presentation about our water. So I will turn the floor over to, WWC Engineering and the city engineer. Take it over.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, tonight we're here to go through a presentation by WWC Engineering with regards to our public relations facilitation and funding pursuit for USDA and for the DWSRF options that we have at hand to solve the city's water problems, our water infrastructure problems. We've gone a long way in pursuing grants and have done a fantastic job as a staff and have achieved $3.5 million worth of grants for our projects. But to fulfill the remainder of our needs, we're pursuing loans for the city to rehabilitate the Rawlins water system. I'd like to introduce to you Murray Schroeder. He's been here before in the past on other projects like the Sage Creek Basin Phase 1 project. He is just really experienced as an engineer with water treatment, our collections, and we made a decision to to go earlier, this year to get some help with this process. And ultimately, we selected WC Engineering, and here we are today. Ray, would you like to take the floor?
Absolutely.
There's a microphone here where you can
Yeah. Might be easier for me to sit too.
Yeah, make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, Mayor Wycombe and council, thank you. Thanks, Austin, for the kind remarks. Austin, stated, we're here to present an update to how we're helping the city and team effort. I mean, it's not just our business, it's certainly, it's Darby, and it's Austin, and it's, Pam, and Cody, and not everybody associated with the city. On into this, project of trying to procure funding to address issues that are facing the city's water, supply system. And hopefully, this presentation will be not only an update, but provide some information that some of the newer council people haven't seen before, that just basics about the water system and what some of that. Our outline is simple. I'm gonna spend a few minutes talking about problems and the kinds of projects that we've envisioned to solve those problems, and then we'll take a look back over the course of this last year, just to illustrate the achievements that have been, claimed. It's not like people have been sitting around doing nothing here for a while. To frame the discussion, the exhibit above you and on your computer, I guess, is a huge expanse of land, and it's not oriented like your typical map, but off to the right side where those four bubbles are is the town of Rawlins. All the way to the left side of that exhibit, on those bubbles labeled Sage Creek, that's up on the Continental Divide, and so there's a 25-mile expanse in that direction, and it's 15 miles if you actually consider the North Platte Pipeline, which is the black line down in the lower right. So Rawlins is a unique place. There's probably not another community in Wyoming that has so much infrastructure per capita to take care of, and that's one of the challenges. What I'll do is I'll spend 10 minutes talking about each of these bubbles as we walk from south to north or left to right. And the Sage Creek Springs, there are two bubbles, one's labeled springs and one's labeled source water. What that is it's the network of spring boxes, pipelines that collect the spring water. So this is the water supply that's most valuable to the city. It's seasonal. Obviously it peaks when snow melt and spring discharge peaks in the late spring and into the early summer, but it isn't often sustained into the late summer, where the city gets challenged with meeting the demands of irrigations. They have other supplies and they have reservoirs to meet those. First type of project that's been envisioned to basically rehabilitate these springs is to replace the spring boxes themselves and the lateral piping that comes into each spring box. So those yellow dots are springs. At each spring, there are lines that I've highlighted on this 100-year-old drawing. There are lines that come into spring boxes that were put in 100 years ago that were made of clay tile pipe, went through gravel bedding, and when the springs had water, those systems collected that water, and water infiltrated through the pipe joint and made it into the box. From the box, a network of wood-stayed pipelines came together and carried the water to town in another wood-stayed pipeline. What's happened in 100 years is that there have been many failures of those collection piping components, the clay tile pipe and gravel. This is just a photograph to illustrate that. This is a spring box 9A. On the right, just looking down into it, and then mass coming out of a pipe coming in from the right. look up in that pipe, what you see is not a clay tile pipe that goes and gets dark because it's there, you see a bunch of dirt, so we undoubtedly lost a lot of the collection system efficiency. And the approach to repairing that is to replace that sort of plumbing with modern components of perforated pipe and gravel. Figure out where to do it. In the springs, there was also 100 years ago about 30,000 feet of wood pipeline. This is an old drawing that you can't tell much about it, but today, the red pipelines in this exhibit have been replaced in modern times, at least. The longer one is the project that was completed last fall. Austin and his crew got that done. Our business designed it. We're waiting on pins and needles or with bated breath to see how it performs this spring. So it should actually bring a little extra water to town. The red line at the bottom is something that was replaced in the late 90s. Mains in that spring area, maybe 15,000 feet of pipeline to replace. Pretty straightforward stuff. A piece of wood stake pipeline that happens to be shooting a leak. Obvious modern day choice for replacing wood pipe is plastic. Road. Field transmission line from the springs on your chart of bubbles across 25 miles left to right. That water is collected in the springs and it's transmitted all the way to town, basically all the way to the Atlantic Rim Reservoir and Water Plant, about 25 miles. That pipeline is steel. It's not had an operable cathodic protection system for some time, which resulted in leaking blow-off valves, which the staff were able to repair a few of them last year. There's 15 or 13, there's a debate on exactly how many remain to be fixed, but there are more leaking, and they actually have a potential for kind of a bad outcome if they fail completely. So we feel, and I think the town's behind us on this, that the repair work that needs to be done to the steel transmission line is the priority. That goes out of service for some period of time, the town's just not gonna have anything other than a surface water supply from the reservoirs or the river to treat water. Photo of a blow-off, happens to be functioning okay at the moment.
What's the diameter of that pipe right there?
That one's 24, I believe, Cody. 22. That's close to Atlantic Rim, or it's the furthest northernmost one. Cody there in that photo. This is a split in the pipeline that occurred during some valve exercising work last, probably a year and a half ago now. Resulted in another repair job. So the point I'm making is that the systems, it needs some work, and it's a priority, and it's not. As you get further to the north, the improvement plan also includes this ductile iron pipeline water from the treatment area down into zone 1. Sorry, the projection of that image doesn't show you where it ends, but it ends up there on, I think, pipeline that's been reported to have been leaky pipe for a long time. Not the only one in town.
That's the main that comes
Into the lower part of town, down by, kind of to the south of the overpass. another line that actually has the same route until northern crossing the road there, and shoots across the interstate and up in the tanks. Higher pressure zone.
Is that two lines side by side running up there? Or is that just there?
So I don't know exactly which one you're pointing to.
The ductile iron line that you said is going north, and then you see it where the railroad tracks are?
Yep.
Is that, they run parallel to each other, is that what you said?
Well, the North Platte pipeline comes in from the the east, and it does parallel this blue line, the
Yep.
blue ductile line for some distance. The line that goes straight north and crosses the railroad tracks there, that's the high pressure line. It's another main artery into town that's apparently okay.
And that main artery is following that?
Yeah. Yeah.
The blue line right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is down the list on our team's priority right at the moment.
That was
Did I
treated,
forget?
You must have broke it, Myra.
that's treated, correct?
Yes.
At that point?
Yeah, it's treated right near that peaking reservoir at the plant. You don't see
Yeah.
the plant in the drawing, but there we go.
You just said it's down on a priority, but that's treated water that's down on your priority. How would I,
That's a low pressure line, it's not,
yeah,
and it's not been, it's feed line into the south side, but not into the main town. The other line feeds up here on the hill, them two things, high pressure line does, so it is and lives in low priority.
And by priority, I guess what we're trying to articulate is not that it's not important, it's probably gonna have to delay addressing that. The tank farm is, another project that's, out there with a lot of potential for high cost, 500,000 gallons, I believe. 40s, I think it's 40s actually. Very sturdy looking animals, I've been to them and I finally snuck out to them again here recently. Hate to say we gotta throw them away, but maybe we do. And I would propose is that we ensure that they're not salvageable. Our businesses and other businesses have replacement of tanks absolutely necessary. It can be welded, it can be modified. Don't give up on rehab because the cost of new water storage this large is, or most of this large is, depending on size. A photo from a project we had been involved with here a couple of years ago. Modification and restoration of existing. Another bubble on the chart is the pretreatment plant startup, which is, is happening today and has actually ongoing throughout the winter. My two consultants have been evaluating what built 20 years ago and put in place and not really used much, and they discovered quite a number of challenges in getting it going again, but, today there was actually some smiles. I mean, I'm gonna leave it at that because we're not sure what we're getting yet. It's gotta run for several days before. Austin's the guy, he's been up, the supervisory control and data acquisition system, communication between plant, the wells, the meter that's measuring the spring water, it's also controlling the wastewater side of structure. Been fortunate to receive some help, renovate and modernize that whole system. maybe not as critical, but they got some money and it's something that can be done in the cold of winter without a lot of prep work. It's actually moving along to some. The next two charts are, I wouldn't I don't wanna go through them line item by line item, but it's simply, project by project, starting out of town with the Sage Creek pipeline system, which was completed, that's why it says 100 feet, but then it steps through over 2 pages. Projects we just talked about lightly, and has a cost estimate associated with it. Grant status column, indicating how much money may have been to date to help address these problems. The bottom line is what I want people to focus on. We've got about $25 million worth of expenditures to address in the coming years, and grant total as of today is about $3.5 million. So the shortfall we're looking at meeting with loans, either federal loans through the SDA program or state revolving fund loan. This pie chart, which is also part of your handout, tries to put it all on a little easier to look at format. Budget by project. And then schedule. This is a very early estimate of how those projects might actually unfold, from funding procurement to design to construction. Everything can happen all at once. Projects are prioritized and some are not. And then vertical gray bands represent winter. And what that planning tool is doing for us is it's not allowing contractors to work in the winter around the valley. So there's a lot of time in the next few years where you can't get anything done. And it's preliminary and important that we don't focus on the details of those dates and stuff right now, but we are trying to figure out how to make this all happen in a lifetime. If you
have a copy of this?
Yes. It's impossible to read at this level. Okay. Our outline had item 2, and that was to reflect on the last year. This graphic also moves from left to right and captures the achievements of last year, from placing Wood State Pipeline in the Creek Basin, about a $2 effort, or just under that. Done on the transmission line, back valves, and work on some blow-offs. Dotted bubble in the middle is trying to capture the realities of funding and what we're doing with the funding. We've got right in the middle the drinking water revolving fund, development loans. That's evaluating right now. Which ones are we going to go after? Project, should we go after all of the projects at once? It's a bit of a puzzle, but the symbol above and to the right for the pre-treatment plant project startup, which is a critical part of this mix. It works. It's gonna really shore up our ability to make repairs. It's gonna have to be down for a while. And then there's a blue bubble lower right, Water Development Commission level 1. As many of you know, came here sometime now getting that process going. It's a little bit behind the process that the town's taken on and themselves, but it will catch up soon, and it will be a valuable supplement to what's already being done. That's getting involved closely with the Water Development Commission is actually gonna position the town to take it. Typically not available from the Water Development Commission's got to be supportive of communities in Wyoming. Granted, they don't grant you the whole project, but they'll definitely play ball, so. You gotta do the study to their spec before you can. Very, very close. I think in a few weeks they'll hire somebody and then that'll get that firm under contract. Firm like ours, so. I am to the questions, please call the city of Rawlins. Bruce. So I'm happy to respond to questions about projects and problems, approaches to and money.
You mentioned, about not sure to start all projects at one time, get funding for all projects at one time, one phase at a time, kind of. What is your stance on, and what are you leaning towards on that, and the reason why? Because rate of inflation, it's almost as if you would want to try and get as much done as fast as possible, and maybe run a secondary line along that, you know, with what we're doing to start you disassemble and, you know, but, I mean, that's just my thoughts, but what's your thoughts, what are you, thoughts are leaning which way?
Well, at the moment, we have grant from field transmission line. We've got, so in the middle column, there's $675,000 of SLIV MRG money, $1 million in C. So there's some funding in place right now that actually the CBDG program has a revision date or reversion date, of 2 years. Money that if you don't spend it quickly, you gotta give it back, and so we've decided to target line priority project and ourselves up with a drinking water program to fund that for almost $4 million amount. Or else we run the risk of losing,
So you're looking at replacing the steel line, or is it repair work on it, or?
it's gonna be a combination of repair work to things that are obviously not working. Also, there's gonna be some level of cathodic protection system to not be working, you know, yet how extensive is the damage. Part of
So, is there a way, a lot of it through the oil fields and stuff, is there any way to smart take that line and see the condition?
you know, the inside of that line is actually, it's got a cement border applied to it. So I'm assuming that's what you'd see. Like this is,
Big X-ray of the line and tell you the thickness of pipe and everything.
I think the problem, and this is just that kind of stuff, right? I think the problem is you would not have a receiver or a launcher in place to launch a pig or receive a pig. I see what you're saying, but you have no place to for the incoming dig to come? Is it gonna flush the system out like you would see in a pipeline situation? Talking about, no, because you got fluids on both sides of it, but there's still no place to receive it. And yeah,
We do all the time on pipeline. Tell you everything you need to know, where there's any weak stuff in pipeline, so.
nice if that was the case.
And at a minimum, the key, I think, is to pipe protection system restored, because what that'll do is it will arrest or stop further corrosion. I mean, you're listening to it corrode and stop it, and then if you stop it, still may have some problems, but at least.
I think that, to me, the cathodic protection is probably real priority. I mean, just off the degradation of what's there.
Yeah.
I know it's been turned off for quite a while. I've had people tell me, and it's super priority.
Real high priority.
Products that, I mean, on the whole time, and products isn't 100% the answer on this. Wherever you have corrosion, it's gonna keep corroding too, obviously. Products that don't just stop it from corroding if it's bad enough. We're gonna have those issues. Have to maintain it and look. Band-Aids.
First thing I think you need to do is when you get done replacing the whole thing, you still need cathodic protection. As you do with the plastic, but yeah.
And that's an option. I mean, I don't wanna be closed-minded, it's just gonna be likely to be a super expensive.
One we don't have money for,
Yeah.
probably can't get, so.
Yeah. Worth college try here to try to.
If the placement of that line, essentially, if that way, what would be the plan at that point in time? Are you gonna go back with the steel pipe, or are you gonna go modernizing to something that's approved to, polypropylene type world, or, you know, PVC? What would be the recommendation and plan at that point in time?
Probably would take a hard look at plastic. The problem is there's some of that line that's under pressure, so it's stretching, you know, the limits of super thick walled HDPE. A lot of the line could probably be plastic.
So with that being said, so like tomorrow morning on, you're gonna be out doing what?
This guy about our thing that's gonna require. And we got our backs against the wall here with deadline. Do that, I'm not sure, but.
We have several coming up anyway, so.
Yeah.
Is this the USDA?
No, it's state revolving fund.
Where are we at on the USDA loan that takes a year to process this and get it done, and we're already months behind that you've had council's approval on that. Where are we at in that process?
Right now, we're looking to get the e-authorizations. Other staff that we have at the city, with that process to have an affidavit from the to move forward. We just got approval, this is a really long way around this, but got approval for letters that we're using for environmental notification for the process. We'll be sending those out hopefully, that it will help get that, the whole certification. More steps in the process for USDA. But in that, USDA is about another process, are now in process until we, WSRF, may be substantially faster. That's something that we're looking at is getting that application complete in June. Actually meet them. Have to have. With that, we don't currently have the funds to work loans, DWF will be able.
So you're putting a halt on the USDA, move forward with another loan?
My plan is to move forward with both of them in parallel, certain individuals, that's going one direction or another. It's an work, but it's actually both. My intention.
Yeah, I don't wanna lose sight, lose ground on a USDA loan that we've been working months on to begin with. And just a halt to try and get another loan where we could just be working parallel like you're planning. That's what I'd like to see continue, both at one time.
The water treatment plant is up, the pre-treatment plant, when it's up and running, what is its flow rate?
But the pre-treatment plant, at this time, we don't have preliminary numbers. My expectation, get it up and running, is about 950 gallons per minute, I hope.
Can't remember our numbers from last year, if you could, or if you get time, just see maybe the last 2 or 3 years, just, the estimation of, like, June to, and then, yeah, just a kind of a calculation of what those estimates. And it sounds like you guys are, with the USDA loan, you guys are still on top of it, you guys aren't. You guys are.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
With regards to the, looking for flows, is that correct?
Yeah, so just to comparison of those months, I guess, before we went, if we have it, if we don't have it, it's fine, and then, because we'll have the live data again this year, like the numbers, so. Unless we can look it up, I don't know how far back we can go on the system that was in place last year. I can do that, I'll do that.
Our average winter use is about 1.5 million, give or take. What's our summer?
Our summer use can go upwards of 6 million gallons a day without restrictions.
So we were moving 6 million gallons a day. Okay, well, without a pretreatment plant.
Yes, sir.
Because we never turned the pretreatment plant on.
Yes, sir.
So we're in a terrible drought from, or there's way more wrong. What is wrong between those systems? A year.
Okay, that's a great question. So, going to the last Wyoming Association of Rural Water Systems, we saw a presentation by DWRD and I believe DWRD, where effectively our drought has been so substantial this year, it's had a major, or the prior year, it was so substantial, that even over a 3-year period, a rolling 3-year period, we're still in a drought. Even with all of the incredible amount of snow that we've had in the high country and lower areas, where we are still in a drought. Catching up quick, which is great, but with my understanding on prior work by groundwater specialists is that we have about a 2-year period into our aquifers at the State Street Basin, about a 2-year lag on flows into that. And most of our spring boxes, as you saw in the drawings, they don't go deeper than 5 to 8 feet. Very shallow aquifer.
Drag. So if there was a 2-year drag, we would have had plenty of water last year. Because 3 years ago, we had a, extensive winter, not as bad as this year, but 3.
I can't speak to that. Wouldn't it be consistently, year after year, you would have to have the, out of the drought to see that drag go away, right? It would, you have to have moisture every single year at high levels. Otherwise, if I understand correctly, that year that we had the high water, and then every year that followed, we just, that's my
information that I have, sir. But I will also say this too, Mayor, is that we have a number of improvements that were done, prior, 20 years or so that were not necessarily engineered. Failures, coming from especially box 12, there are a number of junction boxes that have collapsed at the connections because they've actually floated, is that because they were not anchored. They had decided that it would be a good choice to go forward with a less expensive option, which is understandable, but no engineering was done with it. All floated, and so that was about an 8 to 12 inch line that came in, and a amount of water coming in last summer from that area, and it accounts for all the snow fencing that we have up there. All of that whole larger section of the basin is affected by junction boxes, and there's really
Go back to that, where all the spring boxes are. You can show us where 12 is. 12 is at the north end, or the up the page, and in that cluster there near the end of the red line. So that top, the top. Yeah. And then it's at the end of that red line?
Right at the end of it.
Right at the top of it? I'm guessing that's what you mean by end? Yeah, I honestly think that red changes to orange or something, but. Oh, okay, yeah, the project that was finished ended at 12.
Honorable Mayor, the project terminated at string box 13. We have an 18-inch line there that's been prepared so that we can continue in the future to expand up there. but that orange line from spring boxes 14A, B, and there's no water coming.
Is that because there's no water in those cisterns at all, or is it because there's a collapse between them and that line?
So it's basically the manhole floated like several feet, and now they're actually sticking out of the ground, so all the pipes that were connected to it are no longer connected.
We didn't repair any of those last year, or
Projected amount from those.
Don't have any data at this time, but the beauty of the level one study that the city has pursued, Senator Hicks and, Honorable Terry Lycum have gone forward with, will be something that we're looking at and examining and looking for more water to our system.
So in this picture that we see right here, of these that we're looking at, which ones are still wood? Black lines, anything that's gray? Yeah. Yep. And is it gray to the number as well, or is that number actually on that line? It's not. Or is that an actual line from 3 to down to that gray line? Yep. Is that wood? Yeah, there are laterals to the smaller diameter. So that right there is a lateral. Yep. Those are still wood? To the best of our knowledge, yes. There has been some targeted repair work done all over this place. By looking at this, it looks like they're all wood. They're all connected with gray. Oh, I see. Does that make sense? Yep. So we don't know, though, actually, by looking at this, we have no idea which ones are wood. We have no idea which ones are wood. Yeah. I won't say that because you clearly know what they are. So if I say one is wood, you would say yes, no? I would say yes. Okay. So is that most of this area right here on the bottom is still the old stave pipe? Beaver Creek is that drainage. And it was prioritized or deprioritized for replacement because 2/3 of the water historically has come out of. So it's coming out of up there, yep. Do something, let's go for where we're producing more water. Okay.
that offshoot, that, I know you talked about the orange line that is on 14A, B, and C. Are we also having the same issue on the orange line that is, branches off to the left there?
Yes, it is, an area where those plastic vaults were used.
Okay.
And you can actually hear the water flowing under the vaults in those.
Going past it,
Yeah,
not stopping in it on its way.
right,
Where
we're not obstructed. I think it's because some of those were set directly on the shale stone. So it's not as obstructed, whereas I think that there's a lot more clay, and other, fines towards the, junction boxes 14.
You talked about floating and it's visible, comes out of the ground. Is there a way to preserve those and reseat those in and preserve? Because a lot of times when something floats, you might disconnect here, but your infrastructure portion might stay the same here, right? If it's done, this portion just might out. So is there a way we could bury that, utilize what we already have there, and then portions, reseat them vaults with less cost to us?
Great, question, sir. If you look at the orange line from, 9 up, it's all PVC, so it's a modern line that goes up, that direction. So I believe the line can be left in place and those repairs can be done to the junction boxes. I did include in the estimates for collection system where some of those junction boxes would be replaced.
If we have a chance at out and a way to maybe see if it works.
We just purchased the hydrovac, and they go through hydrovac down and see.
Line and see.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
I mean, it's an option.
Yeah,
Well, as long as it's a fairly permanent option.
yeah.
No, but if we own the equipment, what I see you saying is we could
Put
possibly.
them back in place and then secure them, you know.
Yeah.
So only a third of those are really efficient out of the 12, correct?
So I would say that boxes 10, 11, 12, and 13 are effectively collecting. 9 has some efficacy there. The lion's share comes from 13 and 12. So just those two are bringing in the majority. Yeah, impressive that they can do that much just alone.
It is, it also lets you know how much water's involved being collected
Yeah.
off of that now.
Yeah. That's our highest priority right there, is to try and get as much collection off of those as possible, even if we're leaking some on a transmission line, you're collecting more than what you're losing for dang sure.
May I make a comment, Honorable Mayor? So with regards to the collection system, we just received a grant, and we have a match for that, to accomplish getting those function boxes and collection boxes and all the feeders placed. We're waiting on the agreement from the Land and Investment Board to come in. I have not seen it yet. We're waiting on that, and as soon as that is received and the agreement moves forward, we pull the trigger on another project and get it designed, bid, and built.
And the nice thing about replacing those, but not
They're gonna
working anyway, so you're not gonna cause any downtime, it sounds like, if you had,
Mhm.
if you did do that.
So,
That'd be awesome.
So is it something that we could find the building somehow to begin with, or so we can get, we ain't 2 years down the line before we get that finalized, because we do have winners.
Yeah, that's a great question. So on our prior, SLID MRG grant that we received, I have the document here within a month. This time around, it's hard since we did our application, it's been, so, right now, I'm not sure what the delay is, but, we're working with Beth Blackwell from,
You said we were awarded the grant. My next thought would be, would it start the engineering now, just start it now,
Well, that's what I was
and get that
saying.
going with money we have?
Yeah, that's what I said, is there any way we can start the engineer, so we have that done whenever we're ready? So
Yeah,
I believe so,
you're ready to go out to bid, and
we can go ahead and move forward with doing an RFP and following the same processes. The only thing is, with receiving the grant funds, I don't know what stipulations are a part of that. I know that with, for instance, on our SCADA system, where, an RFP was advertised, it was where WCDA came back and said, well, hold on, you need to wait for us to get your environmental clearance on this prior to the RFP. So I would have to check on that, and see what they have matching funds, so we could proceed on that immediately.
get it going.
Another question, can you tell me the outputs on the nugget wells?
So when we first open up the nugget wells after letting them rest for a season, they come to about 800.
For one,
Yes.
combined, they're 800.
And after running them for a period of time, they will drop down to 650. Also see rise in salinity.
I was talking to a gentleman about the nugget wells. We already know about this, and those fill up with sediment, and what they snowbanks. I don't know if they would blow down the line to push it out or pull that out. Have we, is that something with that, we bought just recently? Or is that something?
I believe that the nugget wells have, but it is something we are looking at right now.
Does that, I'm curious, does that improve the flow rate a lot? What the improvements would look like, something like that?
Right now, we're looking into it.
Okay.
One of the wells is actually, it appears to be a good candidate for fracking. Take it up and restore it to, for some reason, it's, look at the drawdown data associated with it. I'm not a hydrogeologist, but it's pretty clear that it doesn't produce like it should, like the other ones do.
Okay.
But the wells are artesian, and I can't remember what their shut pressures, if you just cut them, but work on those sorts of wells. The city guys could do with their backer truck, you know?
Right.
Questions or comments?
The nugget wells we have more capability for drilling wells there in the future.
So, to answer that question, yes, and it's being looked into, as an option for the city and our well field.
Those wells extremely deep, like those deep.
Yeah, they're about 1,600. But, there may be an opportunity for other wells out in the Sage Creek Basin itself. And if you look at it, there is a well up there right now that's been abandoned. It has water in it, and sounds classic name for the city, but his name was Sage Creek Jimmy. And he was the one who was the proponent of getting the water from the actual Sage Creek Basin and bringing it all the way down, because it was not sustainable to draw water from the Platte River. So, I believe that there was an underground river up in that area, and I think that it will ultimately be part of the question of one study.
No, I was under the impression, or I believe I've been told that those, 3 artesian wells that are out there were drilled by an oil company and then turned over. That's still correct?
That is, my understanding, sir.
Right, well, thank you
Yeah.
for, doing what you do, and,
Yeah, you're welcome.
and,
It's always tough to deal with problems that cost money. There's no way to fix sometimes.
oh, and it's, deferred maintenance is one of the very most expensive things in the world, but, hopefully we can get this fixed without Band-Aids, something we can walk away from and know that it's, gonna last a while, and then the city can adjust its, spending to where we can up on it.
I have one more question. I just thought of this, and it might be for Cody. The preventive maintenance plan you guys were working on for the pipeline, how's that coming along?
So as soon as we start looking at replacing valves, we're gonna start looking at it differently, but right now, we're not to touch anything. Don't touch it.
Okay.
But then we'll set up an O and M on it. Set all this stuff in. Absolutely, like the cathodic protection, when we get that in, that'll be tested probably yearly, if not every 6 months, whatever. From the company that we But that is something that we will absolutely stay on.
Okay, awesome.
Anything else? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll go ahead and recess until the regular. Thanks again, appreciate all your work and.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all being,
They're running down like that, and doing it ourselves. And that original.
So, what is the low pressure?
Yeah, it would be, so it's fine. I noticed all the plastics, that's why there's like a big collar. It was a big collar. I don't remember.
So there's kind of a salt flat here. So when you get up here, and basically you're driving down over here, and sometimes you can see flow here. But I'm not sure that they are flat, I'm not, it's always entirely sure, but that is sheet that comes through there. And right now, it's not flowing, but there's a diversion structure up here.
Okay, so if you're going on that 503.
Is diverting water
out in the reservoir.
on back reservoir.
Over the hill.
It is filling up, and you wanna see something interesting.
Yeah.
I'd go out there on 20 Mile Road, back.
Yeah, we've got a, as you go up over the hill and around the corner and down a couple hundred yards, we have plowed out a big road to get back in there. It's actually pretty easy to see, but it's out that dirt road, and you can go down in there and it drops over a hill and all our sugar box is right there.
Okay.
You can see.
So the one, so
it was.
well, I mean, now, the ones that we were probably. First, okay, we never went any further than that, we went out to.
Yeah. Spring box. What you guys can do is the main spring injection box where all the lines are in the one box right next to the reservoir.
No, before you get to us, that we, there's a
Oh,
couple of
okay,
boxes
so-
on the left.
Okay, that's Beaver Creek. That's
Right,
Beaver Creek.
and that's where we went, we just went there and popped the lid open and said, hey,
So
some
you
water
know
out
that
of
big,
it.
I don't know, that big.
Because I was thinking if the leakage.
That big pond that's right there, that's our well leakage, they're not making that. There's one box right up on the hill around the corner by the old snag tree, and it's, the water's flowing out there and creating that pond.
So, I guess that's
That
the question.
Yeah,
So we have.
the biggest problem with the ductile iron line
But
that
it's only
runs
two boxes,
from the
one is
treatment
up
plant
here,
to the
that are
tank
generating
and down,
by our
is
calculation.
that
Yeah.
it doesn't have the ability to be methodically protected. The soils
So,
are very caustic.
when
And
it hit
so,
that peak,
the way that
that
it's
peak time
constructed,
of year,
there
put
were
on like 6
jumpers
million gallons.
on all
That
the
was
ductile
years ago
iron,
when we had closed, they
sections,
just
so
said
that's
that
the
lower
section
and
that
lower
had
and lower
the
over the
jumpers.
years.
But
That's
how
where
much
you
water
cannot
do we
go.
not
And
get?
so it's
Oh.
going to fail.
That's
It's
it,
the
this will be a
question.
paradise.
Still a major
Like,
priority.
this water that's up
It's
there.
important,
that's why
but
we're
not as
not-
urgent as the ones that are just very clear as issues right now, such as the collection system. But yeah, that's a great idea.
Probably gonna
Just
look
look
off
at it,
where the bubble
area.
is.
I actually jumped down and got inside of it, and you know, we get in it, and you can feel the water about halfway up flowing around it, you hear it. There's so much water right there.
So, you know,
Yeah, and just diverse and not high pressure.
if we were to just replace them with the heavy duty spec. They're not very much, I thought they did 30,000.
There's like a reason.
But, anyway, okay, well, that's good to know. I didn't realize that was the section that had the.
So what they have to do is, it is concrete, but they all have created injection, like one of the laws, where you have to create a system. Flowing through it, so it's not just a box. Pulling it and then setting it in there.
Well, it's been done a couple of different ways. So you have the box. Look at it.
Sounds good. Above the box, they have a.
Do we need to turn off the call?
Like a solid wall, and it forces all the water to come down, just so it. And all it is just like a wall.
Probably.
And it just has like.
That's fine.
Because inside it's.
And are those water that drops through the pipe?
Yes, those are our inlet lines, and then we're catching everything. So we're catching two things.
Okay. And see, that's for me, when I looked at that, I'm like, you know, it's not much water coming from.
You get so much water. We will have more water than we know what to do with. Throw the hose in the street, let it run all night long, if we get half of these connected. We won't care at that point, it'll be in a way.
Is the difficulty in getting them outside of the spring box?
The hard thing is too, we haven't been in there so long, we don't know what the lines actually look like. We know what the vaults look like, yeah, we know they don't work.
We know they're not giving us any water.
Yeah.
So it's either it's not getting in the spring box or it's in the spring. But if it's just, that point, it's just going into overflow. It's not the overflow. Just going on ground.
The animals out there are drinking very well.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Well, you can always tell because they're always splashing in water. Doesn't matter how dry it is for us.
And we
go up there and squish it.
still have, down that ridge, we still have full flowing creek. So, the amount of water.
Okay, I get it.
The amount of water, you know, just the spring box collection project will give us more water to our system than.
Well, our system was built for 40,000 and those boxes built 40,000.
The next thing we're gonna have to do too in the future, actually, because the plant won't be able to hold as much water that we're getting to it, or be able to process that much either.
But we just divert the river, don't have to use the river water, then we can just use it, and then.
Well, that's how it came about that we didn't use our pre-treatment.
Yeah,
Because we had so
we had so
much
much,
water that the pre-treatment is unnecessary.
The year before, last winter.
And I can get you, so we have a trend over the past, I think it's, our water is still like this, and it's like a 5 to 10 year span, where it goes up and down, and we'll get more flows. And it's an absolute trend. The reason why we built the pre-treatment is into no water, and everybody's like, well, we have to get water, so they built the plant. And then in 2 years, the water trend came back up to where we were producing.
Well,
What's gonna happen? That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, don't use the plant.
That, or we turn it into another DE plant, and put more water filtration, and if we get more water coming in, we can. Not really, because of the way it's set up.
It's just a supplemental.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you know, we are still live, and we're staying live till it starts, as they said, so, just so you guys are aware, so, yeah.
No, but this is all of working. But yeah, it's, yeah.
Well, that, I think that's, I mean, looking at that and seeing that many spring boxes, really only 2 of those are generating more. 2 of those.
in the same spot.
Yeah, but they're side by side.
I say, but they're in the same spot, so why
But
are we
everything else up there is in a collapsed pipe system, or that their bubbles have popped up and they're no longer connected to a system.
So if we're getting that much water driven too, how come we?
Well, because the rest of them aren't still connected, or they're collapsed beyond the spring box itself.
And when we put that line in last year, we built on top there a couple, sections, or where all the spring boxes come into our main 18-inch. Off the back side of that line, it was so much groundwater that we built a French drain off the back of it at about 150 feet long, out of 18-inch pipe, and drilled a bunch of holes in it. So that's a big inlet system right at the base too. So we're crossing our fingers that that'll produce.
Does that line jump from 18 inches past the nugget well? Is that what happens? It gets to the nugget?
Yes.
And then it expands again?
Yes. Okay. So there's a section that's 22, and then it jumps to 24, coming further past, I think it's the Miller Hill Booster Station.
Right.
It goes to 24, because the wells will come in, and then we put more water through it.
We run pumps still there where that all comes together?
With that,
We run the pumps there where all that comes together?
it's just a booster station, so when we get in later on in,
When it says, you know,
summer,
max flow rate.
yeah,
it pulls.
yeah, we can pull a little bit more into it when we get later into the summer.
Okay. Thanks, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
For trouble again?
I live in
We are.
normal
I mean, this is first trouble.
I'm good, everything's good.
Scary part is I'm not quite old enough to remember the place with my plan.
How are you?
From where.
mean, you know what was interesting is they built them. Still have a scrapping machine. And when you have that scrapping machine, that means they used to go up there, and anywhere along the pipeline, dig those pipelines out. Re-scrap them.
I remember when they would go out and re-scrap the line, that's basically all they had to do, wood didn't go.
Right, and so you look at that and go, okay, so somehow, in the terms of no longer scrapping pipe, something else happened, we collapsed the system, we collapsed the pipes, they caved in on them. That water's just not getting from the spring box. Because I would assume though, you go up and look at the spring box, the bubbles or whatever they wanna call them, and you can hear the water running on the outside.
Kind of, I'm understanding you talking before I got here, watching the what's funny, this is all in one track. Break the roadways into two, right, where they couldn't even ride motorcycles, sometimes, so, they're walking on feet. So,
Well, it just makes you wonder, because the very first time I sat, the very first meeting I went to, the following day was in my last time. And we got this, they went to, in the Beaver Creek area, we got to go in and look at the top one that comes off the spring box, and they take out a couple water cannons. Well, you look down in there, it's just flashing into the bottom of the thing. Like, okay, that's one of 20. And if that's one, and that's one that's not producing much, right? They call that not producing much. Okay, what is 12 and 13 doing? How are you doing? Well, 12 and 13 is obviously, they're like the super, you know, but what is, everybody else is so close. That water's not gonna just go.
Yeah, it ain't just going in that one spot.
No.
It's our whole area, and all of it should be gathered, basically the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, because it is,
Yeah, good.
it's just down in that clean system. So, you know, because I've never driven further than the reservoir, I've always stopped right at the reservoir area. Look up in that pasture right there, it's always got this much water in it.
Well,
On the
everything's
surface.
nice and pretty, everything else dry.
You know, it's just right there, you can wash, splash yourself through it as you go, but I've never driven up and over the hill where the rest of those are, which is 12 and 13, where they are. I'm gonna have to go up there and check that, I mean, it's beautiful.
I go on a weekend, I look at they're talking about
When, you know where little, what do they call it, Little Rawlins, Little Cheyenne, what is that area right on the top of the hill? Where everybody stops to hunt. Right, well, that's the road. So right when you come up on top right there, and everybody's parked,
yeah.
right, they're all, if you just turn right there. And you'll go out, and it'll come down, it used to go down a real tough road. Used to come down this road, and you can see the tops of the spring boxes. It's like a, you know, they're only like 6 feet big, about 8 feet deep, and they're hollow on the bottom. And they dig a hole, fill it through gravel, set that box in, push the dirt back up, and they connect the pipes to it. Water just fills up from underneath. The box, and you're only collecting 6 foot water.
Yeah, well, most people think that there is one spring coming up ground, that's what it's collecting. It ain't, it's the whole countryside right there. The whole hillside. And it's all coming, we got people sitting in there with gravel beds there, and just let the gravel come into the gravel and come into the box, and then go into our pipeline. Yeah.
Right, and that's, I mean, that's what they look like. I've never seen them in the other ones, I've only ever seen the concrete one. So it'll be interesting, I mean, it's really pretty.
Well, you know, hydrovac used to be a deal, you go in and dig a hole around there. I mean, one that's, come up, it's stuff that we just.
Lift it completely out, re-dig your hole, put it in there, reconnect your lines, and then push it into the ground, so it's not come up.
You know, I mean, there's different options.
Yeah.
And evidently there's plastic ones That's why they raise it. These concrete ones, I don't think they'll ever raise.
They're too heavy.
Yeah, that's.
And there's nothing, I mean, they're hollow on the bottom.
Yeah, so there's nothing.
The only thing they can have, there's nothing to push on.
But the plastic ones actually were, you could build a pressure up inside, and it would force them up.
Create buoyancy.
Yeah, if you got water coming in that's fast enough and hard enough,
Yeah.
it would push it up because.
Well, heck, I mean, you can push water lines right up the ground. Blow in them. You can push it, and there's back pressure on the end there, trying that water to go.
That's why I always put concrete blocks on all the corners and everything else, because it's right water.
Yeah.
No, I haven't read that. No, that's the thing, if it's down south, our whole thing here, anyway, when it's every year. Down, water that's here going to the ground. Sounds like a good time to create it really well. We don't get it first thing, so we want to.
It's been so long since I've had to broadcast through Zoom instead of through the back equipment. I'm like, hey, I've actually got both streams going now. Because this stream doesn't have the greatest sound quality, but it has images, and the other one has really good sound quality, but no pictures. So, I know too somehow. Maybe afterwards. I might have to do that if I really focus my free video editing software. Definitely not live, I don't know how to do live.
I do know that.
How are you? Good, how are you?
It's actually the liner to my.
Okay. 3 in 1.
I'm sorry. I changed up my appearance just to keep everybody. Work from the city officers who right. Hi.
How are you?
I know.
Average on Monday.
Oh, good. Better? Well, get your voice. You get the way that. I do live on vacation. No, I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
You're ready to go. Got a big one. Oh, do we? I love the work.
Yeah, you
Hi, how are you?
I'm getting mad over something.
All ready to go. Sure. Are some of those? I am
feeling those off numbers.
Look at that.
I think it's literally.
Long hard winter.
Still huge. Snow drifts up.
I should go to Rock Springs for, like, the next festival month. Our fire keeping on it. Their fire keeping on it.
I don't know how many I've had.
I'll come the next Thursday. You'll, you're not gonna come? No, I want to drive school in June.
All right, well, we're doing. Going.
Yeah, I really don't care what happens after. Well, I don't. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were in Salt Lake. Morning command, you got it back. Oh, command.
Salute from my perspective. About 15 years ago when I was down. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just, I think, Chris just.
No, I got the picture of Justin.
Bring it to you. Okay. I'll bring it in. Yeah. I'll bring it in.
Just a picture of a.
That is what was on the slide.
Okay, I'll bring it in. We'll get I did that one. Oh, yeah. They didn't know what you meant. Because I couldn't get the picture. Gotta go up there. That took a second.
When are we ready?
So the meeting is up and open. We just have to refresh our.
Well, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
That is the test.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I told Debbie that. I
You can't surgery, man, I drove home.
Haven't done that.
I wanted to.
Actually, we're talking about it. I woke up from it, actually, your arm worked, everything worked. Well, that was the problem. I mean, yeah, I woke up, well, you know, like. And it's a local, and it's, you know, for a while.
Our video. This is the air.
When I gotta watch what I do in my grocery.
Might pick up real quick. You know.
around it.
They didn't have one there, you couldn't make it. Hey, that's what I'm. I told my husband,
Because I don't force that, you know, it'd be all right. I'm okay with that, because I don't mind it if it's. Doesn't matter, do it within, oh, yeah, it takes you 5 minutes to catch up. More than 5. Yeah. Seems like, no. One more minute. All right, with, time, 7:30, has arrived, and so I'll call this meeting to order. Please join us for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Terry Wyckoff,
Here.
Vice Mayor Steve Sanger,
Here.
Councilmember Darrell Gardner,
Here.
Councilmember Tanya Lumen. Here. Councilmember Bruce Seelow,
Here.
Councilmember Jacqueline Wells, Councilmember Chris Weisenberg,
Here.
Thank you. Next thing on our agenda is to approve the agenda. I would entertain a move to approve the May 2nd, 2023 city council as presented. Been a motion made and seconded to approve the May 22nd, 2023 council agenda as presented. For any discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas.
Thank you. Next thing on our agenda is to approve the agenda. Do I hear a motion? Councilman Huber? I move to approve the May 2nd, 2023 consent agenda as presented. Second. There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the May 2nd, 2023 consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 5 yeas and 1 not present. The 1 not present was Council Member Gardner.
I don't even think I get that option. Yay, nay, or abstain. Yay.
I don't think I've ever seen that option either.
Okay, so that's what came up on,
Excellent.
So online voting, thank you, has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas.
All right, thank you. Next thing on our agenda is citizens' participation. This is the time set aside for public comment about things that are not on our agenda pursuant to resolution number 2C-96. 5-minute time limit. Is there anybody here that would like to speak? Fine. Please come forward, state your name and your sign-in sheet up there. Okay.
My name's Patrick Gonzalez, you all know who I am. Find something I can. All right. I have a couple of issues that I think need to be brought to this body, for a number of reasons. The first is a point of clarification. I've heard numerous times that this governing body adheres to Robert's Rules of Order. But no one in the governing body or in the city of Rawlins can explain or tell anyone which Robert's Rules of Order that you adhere to, which edition, which version, etc. But I would like to point out that in the newly revised issue of Robert's Rules of Order, the right of members to participate in public, for public comment is limited to 10 minutes. I just thought I'd throw that out there. First big issue that I would like to know when this governing body is going to issue a formal apology to Councilperson Lumen. If you recall, she was not allowed to take her oath of office after she was elected to that position. This governing body, the city, essentially became judge, jury, and executioner, and would not allow her to take that oath of office. There was a lot of false information that was put out there. Yes, she did take a donation, but she promptly gave that donation back. And this group attempted to threaten her with legal action for perjury. Yet the Secretary of State's office and the county attorney found no criminal intent, no criminal wrongdoing,
and yet still attempted to keep her from taking her seat. The mayor has stated on more than one occasion, we do have term limits every 2 and 4 years. Well, the people spoke, and you attempted to prevent her from taking her oath of office. Second point that I have, another formal apology, in my opinion, needs to be directed to Rose Kane and Dirty Boys Sanitation. The better part of 3 months, members of this governing body inherited a false narrative that Dirty Boys Sanitation owed the city of Rawlins $160,000. After numerous records requests, not only by Rose Kane, but also by her attorney, Amy Brock, turned up nothing. No evidence, no facts, no documents to support the claims that she owed the city $160,000. It was parroted numerous times by members of this group. It was parroted in public by people. 3 residents came to our office, spoke to me directly, asking if there's anything that they could do to help remedy the situation. I was told on 3 separate occasions, Dirty Boys would not receive it and renew it, get their license back until they paid the $160,000. Yet this group could not produce documentation, facts, figures to support that claim. I also point out that per your agreement with the haulers, section 808.40, notice and evidence of violation. For any violation of this chapter, there shall be a minimum fine of $250 and a maximum fine not to exceed $750. Councilman Durst specified January 2nd, and it was also basically seconded by former Councilman Martinez, why she was never cited, never ticketed, anything. And yet you violated your own policy. Which then we fast forward to March 7th. In that meeting, the issue of changing section 8 in the recycling portion of your ordinance, it was specified that there was too much ambiguity in that ordinance and too much of a gray area. Staff member of Dirty Boys Sanitation asked the city attorney, so you're saying there's too much gray, and she said yes. So by that admission, the whole issue between Dirty Boys and the city of Rawlins was not as black and white as this governing body said it was. Now, my third issue is a little more serious. A lot more serious. I'm going to give this each member of this council. I'm going to direct this specifically to you, Mr. Weisenberg, but I'd like you to look at me when I'm talking to you.
You have 30 seconds.
And I'll do my thing in 30 seconds. You have a problem with somebody, an editorial on social media. I gave you and the mayor my personal phone number if you had issue with me. Do not ever make idle threats against me or another member of this community. Have the guts to look me in the eye and face me.
Time's up.
That's all I needed.
I'd like to request 5 more minutes.
I would.
You have to vote.
Got a motion?
Make a motion to give Patrick plus 5 more minutes.
For a second? A motion made and seconded to grant, Mr. Gonzalez another, 5 extra minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, please open online voting.
Mayor, this is during public comment. We'll have to take a verbal. I can do roll call, or you could do it as,
Do roll call, please.
okay. Mayor Terry Wycombe,
Okay.
Vice Mayor Steve Sanger.
Okay.
Councilmember Gardner,
Yes.
Lumen. Yay. Councilmember Seelow.
Yay. Yay.
And Councilmember Weisenberg.
Thank you.
Hold on one moment. Motion closes and the motion passes. 5 yeas and 1 nay. The 1 nay was Mayor Wycombe.
What I wanted to continue to say, Mr. Weisenberg, you have to understand, as a taxpayer, it is my responsibility to hold you accountable to this public.
Point of order, please. We have rules in place.
Point of order, we're not supposed to discuss or talk.
Exactly. This is my time, sir. What I was going to say is, nothing I said on social media correct. Based on observation, it's based on fact. Had an issue, I gave you my number, you could have called me. That's what you do.
I have to stop you there. This is a personal attack, and that is
I'm not attacking
directly
him.
against the
I'm
rules.
not attacking him. If I said anything, no, I haven't attacked him. Let me finish. You just voted on it.
Go ahead.
And as I said, as a resident and taxpayer, my job is to hold you accountable. That's what I was attempting to do. You have to ask the public, you represent us. And now I have to ask, do you have the best interest of this community at heart when these types of things happen? I would say no, you do not. I have nothing against you, Mr. Weisenberg. I have nothing against anyone. I am allowed the freedom of speech, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you have the opportunity to reach out and contact me directly. That's why I gave you my number, but you didn't do that. That's why Councilman Garner sought a vote of no confidence against our mayor. You make up these rules to basically justify whatever it is you want to do. I find that absurd. If you don't like something, you just can't brush it under the rug and make up rules to allow people or not allow people to say and do certain things. I just find it ridiculous that this is even an issue that has to be addressed to a governing body. I'm tired of the false narrative that gets pushed out there and the lies being told. That I hope this governing body does the right thing, issues apology to both Ms. Lumen and Rose Kane and Dirty Boys. That's what you should do. Will you do it? I doubt it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to get up and speak at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to the next thing on the agenda, which is a proclamation. This proclamation is for National Police Week. It's a City of Rawlins, Wyoming proclamation, National Police Week. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Association's Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. Whereas law enforcement officers are the guardians of life and property, defenders of the individual right to be free, warriors in the war against crime, and dedicated to the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of our law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. Whereas the men and women of the Rawlins Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service. Now therefore I, Terry L. Wycombe, Mayor of the City of Rawlins, call upon all citizens of Rawlins and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 14th through the 20th, 2023 as National Police Week, with appropriate ceremonies and observances in which all of our people may join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in so doing have established themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. I further call upon the citizens of Rawlins to observe the 18th of May, 2023 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community, or have become disabled in the performance of duty. And let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Council, Michael Ward for the Rawlins Police Department. In 1962, then President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week that date falls in as National Police Week. National Police Week honors the sacrifices of law enforcement officers who laid down their lives. According to the Officer Down Memorial page, so far in the United States, we lost over 26,000 officers, law enforcement officers, in the line of duty. 136 years that the Rawlins Police Department has been in existence, we've lost 3 officers. Back in 1903, Lieutenant Thomas Kling and Police Officer John Baxter responded to a call for shots fired at a business in downtown Rawlins. On arrival, they were both shot and killed. In 1996, Lieutenant Del Dixon was attending the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia, when he suffered a medical event that cost him his life. All 3 of those were line-of-duty deaths experienced by individuals serving the city of Rawlins. On May 18th, the Rawlins Police Department is going to be hosting an open house at our police department, 215 5th Street. We're going to have a flag ceremony and then an open house to remember all of the officers and law enforcement that in service of others. So thank you for your proclamation. And I left some flyers in the back of the room, and I put some up on the podium, or on your podium in front, for our event on the 18th. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
All right, the next thing on our agenda is a presentation of the Community Builder Award for May 2023, and I will turn it over to the members of the Rawlins, City of Rawlins Volunteer Committee.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, thank you. I'll give a background about this great award. The Community Builder Award is a monthly award the city presents to local businesses, individuals, and organizations for their volunteer service, sponsorship, promotion of programs and events, outstanding service in the interest of the city, and for other contributions significant to Rawlins' quality of life. The Volunteer Committee has the pleasure of presenting the May 2023 Community Builder Award to the Rawlins Volunteer Fire Department. And I believe, Alan Robinson would like to add a few words to that.
Honor Mayor, Council, I do have a few things I'd like to add. First thing I'd like to do is have those volunteers that are in the room come up and join us. Volunteers and other firefighters we have, so you guys are looking real good. We are short in numbers tonight. Life being what it is, I have at least 4 guys that are sitting in an EMT class taking a test tonight, so they could get out. With the refinery turnaround, we have people that are committed there, those kind of things. So we're involved in our community and we're doing what we're supposed to, but right now we're few in numbers and we're here. But I have some other numbers I want to share with you, and then we'll talk about these guys here in a little bit, okay? Training hours, all these numbers are for 2022 for the calendar year, numbers, but this is for the last year. We just had our annual awards banquet. And these were the numbers that were shared then. So, training hours, 4,110 hours, including medical, structure, hazmat, wildland. That is up from 3,109 in 20. Annual responses, 1,045. That is up from 946. 100 runs in. I can tell you right now that our runs are ahead of that already for 2020. Very busy. Building inspections, including what the building official has done. I suppose I'd include her in this group too. She was actually out on an inspection. And 1,845. We also received or obtained 30 different training certifications. That continues to increase and we are working towards every day. So I present to you the Rawlins Fire Department, or the Rawlins Volunteers Fire Department. We go by both names. We are one team, as far as that part of it. There, guys. Okay, now we don't need to come over here. Nope, don't say so.
Okay.
Okay, cheese.
No, you can't take it home.
Thank you, guys. You have no idea how much you are appreciated.
If I may, Mayor, Council, just one quick thing. We are in the middle of a large campaign to look for volunteers. There's a number of things that we're doing, a number of different things throughout the community that we're trying to get the word out, and we're looking for help, those kind of things. So that on nights like this, when life happens, we have people busy doing other things, we actually have more people that can working on that very diligently.
Thank you, and thanks again to the volunteers. Councilman Weisenberg?
Yeah, I appreciate all the hard work and dedication. I know, you get a chance to donate that out, and I might have heard that, who are you offering to donate that to?
We're donating our $100 that's by the city to the Rawlins Little League.
Thank you, so awesome.
It was offered to us, and we said, no, we're gonna have to pass that to somebody else, and I
Yeah.
didn't think it was much fair that we kept it and that kind of thing.
I just didn't hear that,
Yeah, no, I don't think we said that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next thing on our agenda is, the, recognition of, Rawlins Fire Department Annual Award recipient. And I will turn the, floor over to, you, Alan. I guess Wayne's not here.
No, Blaine has actually been out of town for medical appointments today, and didn't know if he'd be back, so he asked me to.
Okay, well, thank you for taking over.
He was trying, just didn't make it, all sure, and I give him a little bit bit of a hassle because of it, but we'll get through that, so. As I mentioned a while ago, our annual awards banquet, was in April, first part of the month, and we wanted to recognize those recipients of the awards, here in front of you guys, so you could also offer your thanks and whatever to those individuals. Our first one, our Rookie of the Year is given to that member within their first year of their time with us. First year takes a lot of time and dedication to start gaining your Fire One certification. Fire One certification is probably one of the hardest to get just because there are so many tasks involved and you have to learn to pick up. I mean, everything from answering the phone and getting on the apparatus to actually fighting fire and doing everything we do. There are a huge variety of things there. This year's award winner of the Rookie Year was Chris Villanueva. Not with us tonight. Our next award is most training. Most training is taken, that number is taken off of the hours of training that are required with volunteers. We have a certain state statute we have to maintain. And so we have 2 trainings every month. That is our required training. That's when everybody gets together and we do tasks and depending on what the night is and those kind of things. And that goes to Scott Hatcher. He is also not in attendance. He's actually working in the oil field tonight, so he's not able to be here. Just for your information, Scott was able to get every single training we had offered last 100%. Okay, our next award recipient is not a stranger to this, members, you guys. Lou Lascano was received the award for best attendance. Best attendance is for the actual alarms that are struck out for firefighters to respond throughout the year. I don't have the actual percentage of that. We'd like to recognize Lou Lascano with that. Thank you. Next award is Firefighter of the Year. Brian, you want to come up here? Brian Martin is the recipient of the Firefighter of the Year award. This is an award that is voted on by the members of the department for outstanding service to leadership, and there's all kinds of Firefighter of the Year that is voted on by your peers. And so, congratulations, Brian, on Firefighter of the Year award. And the last award we have is the Chief's Award. This is an award that is selected by the chief himself and given to a individual firefighter for outstanding service and whatever criteria that the chief chooses to put together with that as far as well-rounded individual. I'm not sure exactly all what he puts into that because that is something that he alone can choose, that individual, and can pick whatever traits and things that he for that chief's. That this year that goes to Anthony Shepard. And with that, we'll turn it over to photos, wherever you want to do, and go from there.
EMS.
Oh, EMS, I didn't write it down, that's why I missed it.
Here.
Steph, come on. I'll hear about this for weeks. I am so sorry. Steph Trimble is our recipient of the EMS of the Year. EMS of the Year award is given out to an outstanding individual who's went above and beyond as far as taking care of EMS. And even though she's not responding to calls every day like my full-time guys are, Steph steps up and helps when we're actually in need of people. And for those of you, if you're not aware, every time that an ambulance goes out somewhere, we move from third out to second out. Every time there's more than one ambulance out, we move first out. And we get the calls, the next one comes out. That number, but our ambulance has been out about 12 times this year already. We only had a total of 20 last year that we actually. Now outside of that, that's actually when we actually go in service and take somebody to. There were and when we get to that point, full-time staff doesn't, we still have our normal firefighting duties and response duties to take care of, and so we ask volunteers to step up and help. And taking care of things and being able to hurt people and change lives. Thank you much.
I tried.
No. None of us could do it. Where do you want us? Right here?
You can just do it.
Thank you, guys. Do an amazing job. Thank you so much. All right. Next thing on our agenda is, employee of the first quarter, and, I will turn the floor over to, Stephanie Paulson.
Perfect. It's kind of an exciting night. So many awards. This is fantastic. So many recognitions. I am excited because we are already through the first quarter of the year, which is amazing to me. But we have a fantastic individual we're going to recognize tonight. So I'm going to invite Katie Shingle to come on up. This is Katie, and she works in our recreation department, so you may have seen her over there. She was nominated by actually two different individuals. The first one, well, more individuals. The first nomination had 4 people on it, and then another separate one from that. We're just really excited. She, just give you some of the information that they sent in. She says that she always greets each guest personally, which is an amazing thing to do, especially at the recreation center, to be able to make everyone feel welcomed and happy to be there. She makes anyone and everyone feel like the rec is the place to be. Her attitude is contagious. She's full of energy, and she's willing to help with anything. She creates an atmosphere at the recreation center that's welcoming and active for everyone. And the second one, nomination, says that Katie is an outstanding employee at the rec center, and she's very helpful, kind, and understanding. And I loved Katie since she started working here. She just has such a sweet smile. Jason is actually asked to come up and talk a little bit about you. We'll try to come over to him.
Thank you. This is well deserved, and I'm your biggest fan, just so you know. Katie is awesome in so many ways. One very small example is our playgroup program that we started maybe a year and a half ago. It's for parents with children ages 5 and under, where they can come. Right now it's like Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to noon, and you can come with your tots and interact with, so they can interact together, but also the parents can interact as well. And Katie just took that program over on her own and has just turned it into something that is very popular. People look forward to it. The kids look forward to it. I love seeing these kids kicking and screaming when their parents tell them it's time to go because they don't want to leave. But Katie talks to the parents and pays attention to the toddlers, and she brings in new adventure and climbers and things for them to do, and switches it out and changes the room around so it's not the same thing every time. I really appreciate everything you've done to help improve that program. She's absolutely a team player, always positive. Everybody loves Katie at the rec center, and if you'd all please join me, I think you deserve another round of applause. Thank you.
That was awesome. Congratulations, Katie.
Thank you.
All right. Next thing on our agenda is Rawlins Carbon County Airport Board appointment, and it looks like we have 2 applicants and 1 spot. So I will ask, is Skylar Brooksby here?
So in my email to the council, I said that he was not able to attend due to a...
Okay. Okay, thank you, sorry, I must not have read that, or I forgot. All right,
No problem.
Doug Smith, and Doug, would you like to come up and tell us why you would like to be on the airport board?
Well, primarily because I learned to fly at this airport. And I had a plane stationed out there for about 4 years. Finally sold it because I really didn't have a use for it. But I'd still like to be involved with, aviation in Rawlins. Anyway. If I can answer any further questions.
Anybody got any questions? I don't have any for you, Doug, but thank you for applying for this board. It's a very important one. I would move to, entertain a motion. Mayor.
I move to appoint Doug Smith to the Rawlins Carbon County Airport Board for the term ending January 31st, 2025.
Second.
Been a motion made and seconded, to appoint, Doug Smith to the Rawlins Carbon County Airport Board for a term ending January 31st, 2025. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed, the motion passes with 6 yeas.
Thank you, congratulations, Doug, you can go to work.
Thank you.
All right, now the next thing on our agenda is, city manager report and staff reports. I'll turn the floor over to you, Tom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. Got a couple items for you tonight in the spirit of awards that we've seen tonight, different things. I'd like to announce that our very own Debari Martinez has won the Lamb Honorary Member Award. And he will be presented with that, June 8th in Cody, Wyoming at the Lamb, convention at the Thursday night meeting. That is very excited, and Debari is very, deserving of that award. Also, through the Lamb Awards, I'd like to announce that the Parks and Recreation crew won the Community Hero Awards. Lamb, and they likewise will be presented with that at the Thursday night reception in Cody, Wyoming on June 8th. Very well deserving. You know, we're into our budget season here, and so I have a few dates for you as to how we will proceed with the budget. The first reading of the budget, we will hold a special council meeting on May 10th at 5:30, and we will have the first reading of the budget. My goal is by Monday morning to have a draft of that budget, and I will email that out to the council, and if you would like a paper copy, let me know, and I will have that either prepared or we will deliver that to you if you would like, however you'd like to do that. And that should be ready Monday morning to do, and that will give you about a couple days before the first reading of the budget. The second reading of the budget will be at our Monday, June 5th council meeting. So during that meeting, we will do the second reading, and any changes that we have in the first reading or concerns that you have, we will take those and we will incorporate that into the budget. The third and final reading of the budget will be a special council meeting on June 14th at 6:30. And our budget has to be filed with the county by June 15th by state statute. So that is just the day before, but that'll give us roughly 9 days to put in any other changes after the second reading to get those in and then present it to council on the 14th. So that's how we will proceed with the budget. And that is my report.
Is the budget always so close to the deadline?
I mean, is that normal?
It is. We could do the third and final reading earlier. That was the date that seemed to work the best for that, but, in future years, we will try to move it up a little bit. There's a lot going into this budget, so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, but that's,
Have anything for us, Wendy? Direction from the city council to city manager and city attorney. Seeing none, we will.
I just had, have you had a chance to review that,
I did a markup.
okay, all right.
I've done a markup, but I haven't sent it out.
Okay.
You asked me to wait.
Oh, as soon as you have it marked up, if you wanna send it over, and then we'll compare, the two, the one she's working on, and see what the corrections we need to make.
I misunderstood.
No, that's fine.
I'll send it.
I was just curious, thank you.
Mhm.
Or anything else? Okay, seeing nothing, we will move on to, unfinished business. I would entertain
I move to approve the third and final reading and waive the reading of the ordinance to amend Rawlins Municipal Code Section 10.15470, failure to maintain liability coverage.
a motion made and seconded to approve third and final reading and waive the reading of the ordinance to amend Rawlins Municipal Code Section 10.15.070, failure to maintain liability coverage. Is there any, discussion? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed, the motion passes to 6.
On our agenda is, new business. I would entertain a motion. Councilman, Eisenberg.
I'd move to have the interim city manager, Thomas E. Sarve, enter into a contract with Computer Professionals Unlimited, CP Inc., out of Casper, Wyoming, to assist the city of Rawlins to provide information, technology, and computer system management services for a fee totaling $8,526 per month for 12 months.
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded to have the interim city manager, Tom E. Sarvey, enter into a contract with Professionals Unlimited, CPU Inc., out of Casper, Wyoming, to assist the city of Rawlins to provide information technology and computer system management services for a fee totaling $8,526 per month for 12 months. Is there any discussion?
I was reviewing the proposal, and I might have missed it, but when it comes to our servers, they have the monitoring and, proactive monitoring, patching, and automated problem detection. Where when we get down to on-site technician available to consult with staff, they don't include work for, so they have patching and, protection. So is it, if they had to work on our servers, is it gonna be another fee, or is it just missing the on-site bundled section?
I believe it's just missing in that, because that was discussed that they would
So,
perform that.
okay, yeah, so I'm just curious, because they'll work on everything, and I just wanna make sure that they'll also, if we do have a issue with, the servers themselves, and they have to physically be on site to work on that, this will cover that,
clarify that.
But you think it
I'm
was
pretty
discussed,
sure
so,
it is.
okay, thank you.
Councilman Lemon?
Can you tell me how this compares to the empty position that this is gonna fill?
It will, substitute for that empty position. It'll fill that position. So, we had a choice to go out and either look for another IT director or to go for services. And we chose to go with these, provided services in the place of hiring that director. There's just so many specialties and so many things out there, and this company employs a lot of knowledge in a lot of areas that we can draw on. And so we felt it made more sense to contract and to hire like one specialty or two specialties, hire a team. We will also have an on-site person once a week that'll help with the hardware issues that we have.
Cost is comparable?
It is fairly comparable to what the salary benefits, this contract would be probably 15,000 annually more than what the position was, so it's fairly comparable.
Councilman Weisenberg? This is possibly legal, I'm sure the answer is already known, but is there a reason we did not have to go out to bid for this? The total amount following 12 months is, $102,312, so I see the comparison to a salary and benefits, but is it because it's a professional service is why we do not have to go out to bid?
Correct, that's because it's a professional service.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed, the motion passes with
Thing on our agenda is, to approve a resolution, being Rawlins Park and Rec Advisory Committee Board bylaws. Councilman Garner?
I move to approve resolution authorizing to update the Rawlins Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee bylaws to add 2 alternate youth positions.
A motion made and seconded to approve a resolution authorizing an update to the Rawlins Park and Rec Advisory Committee bylaws to add 2 alternative youth, positions. Any discussion? Any questions? Any advocates? Please open online voting.
voting is open. Online voting has closed, the motion passes.
Right, thank you. Next thing on the agenda is another resolution. I would entertain a motion for by Councilman Weisenberg, I guess.
I move to approve the submittal of the resolution to the Wyoming Association of Municipalities, WAM, application for legislation to clarify the lien and assessment process by which municipal expenses for abating nuisance and dangerous buildings may be recovered.
I'll second. A motion made and seconded to approve the submittal of the resolution of the Wyoming Association of Municipalities advocation for legislation to clarify the lien and assessment process by which municipal expenses for abating nuisances and dangerous buildings may be recovered. Is there any further discussion? Councilman Weisenberg?
I just wanna say, thank you, Wendy, for getting this done so we can, get this into WAM if it's passed. Backstory is obviously known throughout our community with dangerous buildings and the problems we've had for abatements and, to resubmit the House Bill 135 back, to to WAM for discussion might make it easier, and, Councilman Laybourne has reached out to the city also, and email today. I tried touching base with him today also, but he, 100% supports this. He's, talked to, legislators, on this also. So they wanna just go in a grove of people pretty much to WAM and see if we can tackle it that way. So I would appreciate support on pushing this through.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed, the motion passes.
Thank you. Now, before we go on to the next thing, I do wanna, while we're talking about WAM, I do wanna read this. This came from Joe Coyne. He was one of the, instructors that was at our training Saturday, and he said, "Good news. WAM received notice this morning that our training program is approved to meet the state's new mandate for public officers. I will talk to WAM soon to figure out how we will handle the actual certification process, but this should mean that everyone who attended on Saturday will be certified." Isn't that wonderful news?
Yeah, that is fantastic.
It's incredible. That if you wanna know what WAM will do, that's one of the things that they helped us do. All right, so then the next thing on our agenda is an executive session. And, Vice Mayor Sanger?
I move that we go into executive session, time at the end, for Wyoming State Statute 164405, 92, to consider or receive any information classified as confidential by law, and to consider the appointment and employment, right to practice or dismissal of a public officer, professional person, or employee, or to hear complaints or charges brought against an employee, professional person, or officer, unless the employee, professional person, or officer requests a public hearing. The governing body may exclude from any public or private hearing during the examination of a witness any and all other witnesses in the matter being investigated. Following the hearing in executive session, the governing body may deliberate on its decision in
Do I hear a second?
Second, he needs to state.
8:23.
Sorry,
Been a motion made, and seconded at 8:23 to go into executive session. Discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed, the motion passes with 6 yeas.
You're really stay live with sound. There's a lot of
And so, ones that we don't have everywhere, anyway. Something that you see.
You're welcome, thank you.
Another great evening. Okay.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed something.
Yeah, no, it's, we're trying to streamline it, but still give me ability to, but you could do those things.
I'll hold this recording.
Yeah, so there's still a mechanism to come back if there's an issue. Okay, awesome, thank you. And I'm sorry I misunderstood, I thought.
No, it's perfect.
I thought we were doing it like separately.
Yeah, so we would, so I was gonna have
I don't
Rachel
know,
Washington do it.
now,
She had
it might be
something she said she had already seen. So I figured if you did it, I did it, it was like, more serious.
Everybody just do it on the hour, just on the hour.
I don't think it's fine because
I'll just reply because I might.
yeah.
So I'll just send it to you.
Okay, that works. Thank you.
Okay, so let's not really big hurry because other things that tie up, so we're looking more at, probably late summer, early fall, for the development.
No, I haven't had. Well, I had a baby the other day, and then I was so sorry. You touched me and you were messed up, so I got somebody to do it.
The way that this guy was going at it, and
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, you should. So we parked in a very good location.
Hi. I'm always running one way, always running the other. I'm good, how you doing? I'm not ignoring you.
Are you gonna be at the special meeting?
It's a busy day.
I'm going to try to be there.
Oh, you're talking about, I thought you were talking about the tenth. Yes, I will be checking because, Bruce, well, that's the night, yeah, I'll be there because Bruce won't.
Oh, okay.
Bruce's dad is doing surgery that is.
Yeah.
Well,
Thursday, I'm gonna be in surgery, so.
In here.
It is in there. So how is, what's up there on board with that?
Well, the students come in.
Yeah, and I think Sonia will have it all worked out, she'll probably talk to you.
I just,
I know
I'm usually one that shows up early, so I want to visit someplace that was.
No, follow what we're saying, and I will just reach out to her tomorrow and let her know that.
And I'll just be able to see anybody else.
Are they? I don't know.
So I've been reading through it, and I know that my on my board is.
I think there's kind of like, most of the guys there work night, because we run in debt.
Oh,
So,
Dylan.
Oh, I wrote those, I so this is
That's,
B.
as I was going through it, I was like, why is
1, 2, 3.
this in this
Yeah,
category?
it is.
But I'm not seeing it in this category, where it makes sense to be in this category, like the housing.
Yeah, no,
It's just, it's on my.
that's where I.
Maybe there's a requirement on there too.
Oh, can I please have one? Thank you, I'm gonna come.
I don't know what else.
Can I come?
Yeah.
So what do I know? All I do is make sure.
Okay.
Spring fresh.
You don't have accidental reference.
Well, I literally had my fingers stuck in that, the pages, in the R category, the RA category, that all those one, I, whatever. And I'm like reading it and then flipping back, like, what category is it? Okay, it's that.
Yeah. I do that especially. I make sure that they actually match with the, or words that are. So that's kind of my, my fingers are in that part.
Okay, yeah, I was definitely doing the ninth. The one that I will be for that. So maybe just special meeting on the tenth.
It's only for the first round of the subject.
It's Indianapolis, Speedway,
Although, by and large, the driving.
I'm at home, the kids,
Far.
including the one I married.
Yeah. Me too.
We all know it's at home.
Where are you from?
I don't have all boys. I'm raising 3 boys, and married one of them.
Exactly, yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, they get in my face, I'm like, yeah, I'll see you later. Okay, have a good night, see you next week. Good night.
See ya.
Okay, love.
How are you sorry about? Bye.
So I was afraid of that.
literally one. Maybe 1.0, or times 10.
Hold on one moment, my computer, I locked it, so no one can go in.
We all got it.
Are you ready then?
No, but I will,
Mayor's office.
go ahead.
Okay, Councilman Weisenberg?
I move to come out of executive session at 8:43 PM.
Second. Been a motion made and seconded to come out of executive session at 8:43 PM. Is there any, discussion? Hearing none, please open online voting.
Okay, online voting is open. Voting is closed, the motion passes with 6 yeas.
All right, is there anything that was discussed in executive session that anybody has an objection to? Seeing none, we will move on to the next thing. Councilman Weisenberg?
I move to approve the executive session minutes of April 4th, 2023, regular city council meeting.
Motion made and seconded to approve the executive session minutes of April 4th, 2023, regular city council meeting. Is there any discussion? None, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed, the motion passes with 5 yeas and 1 abstain. The 1 abstain is Councilmember Gardner.
Yeah,
It did.
sorry.
No, I just wanna make sure we got
It's
it.
not my computer being funny.
I just wanna make sure everything is.
All right, thank you. If there's nothing else to come in front of this body, I will adjourn this meeting, noting that the next, meeting will be May 10th, special council meeting at 5:30, and then May 16th, council meeting notice at 7:30.
So the special council meeting, there will be dinner provided for everybody, all right? So I will have dinner for you all. And I believe the 16th, there should be a work session. I have not gone through it all with the mayor and vice mayor and the department heads, but if there is, it will be. Okay? All right?
Well, thank you all.